I'm feeling ready. Black Lives Matter, I think, has been one of the hugest, most important social movements of our recent time, and has brought about some very defensive behavior by white people. And I think what's become so important at this particular time is racism. The need to confront it, the need to call it, to see it, to come together against it, right? My name is Fatima Jaffer. I'm in many different communities as a really lippy, anti-racist, queer of color. But in the queer community, I think most people know me as a photographer. I can't believe you're asking me where I'm from. Where are you really from? I'm from many places at the same time. I come from Mombasa, Kenya, which is an island off the coast of East Africa. My ancestry is Indian, from Kutch. The way I see myself is I wear many hats, but literally only one. I'm queer at UBC doing my PhD. I'm queer when I'm on the streets, at a social housing demo or an anti-war rally. I'm queer as a Muslim. I'm queer as a South Asian. I'm queer as someone from Africa. I'm queer in every aspect, because queer to me means bringing together all those things, right? It actually means stepping outside the norm, not being one definition of any one thing. My first memory in my queerness was at the moment where I really came to terms with who I am and came out publicly, or was it the moment when I was 8 years old and fell madly in love with a school friend, or when I was 12 and my sister called me a lesbian and I was ashamed and I went and looked it up in the dictionary because I didn't know what it was. I was growing up in Kenya. So was that my queer moment? Was my queer moment, I think I have queer moments that are new to me a lot. I would say my coming out moment here in Vancouver was seeing another queer of color. Meeting somebody who was so comfortable in their skin about being a queer of color was empowering and fantastic. Up until then, I thought being queer would make me Western, would make me white. I didn't want to be selling out who I really am, which was, from Africa, being South Asian, being Muslim, all those things. I didn't want to betray those things, and I realized I wasn't, and that there were others like me. And that's why visibility to me is so important. I think the challenge then is to queers of color and black queers here to find those ways for ourselves where there's a reclaiming of ways to be queer, going back to who they really are, right? What grounds me is going in the ocean, being by the ocean, looking at the ocean, smelling the ocean. The ocean grounds me more than anything because it connects me to all the places I'm from. Sometimes it's impossible to be in certain spaces because you're made to feel very, very unwelcome, because the only way you can be there is to act white, really. And because queerness is so often presented as white, right? And all you see are white bodies and, white ways of being queer, and everything else is erased, like African ways of being or Indian ways of being. It is about taking back space and not leaving spaces up to white people. I think that at this particular time what is important is that queers of color don't forget history. They need to be carried by their histories, because it's their strength in remembering that there has been a very vibrant, very strong, long-lived anti-racist movement in the queer community here in Vancouver. No individual achievement is done alone, right? It's that coming together that actually gave us the power to push forward, to survive individually, right? To get through to the next day, to deal with family and friends and homophobia out there and racism all those intersections, right, in gender. So for me, it only really exists in the context of many people who are not here, but they're standing. I'm standing on the backs of many people in this community, without whom nothing I do would be possible.